Remember that Ilhan Omar Rolling Stone cover when her and all the other communists stormed into Congress and made Nancy Pelosi's life a living hell? And you could tell Pelosi hated every second of posing with these third world communists, but she had to do it for power. Women shaping the future. Well, Nancy Pelosi was excited to wipe the smug smirk off Omar's face, who you could tell even in this photo was shocked that she was welcomed into the halls of Congress. Even she couldn't believe it, but that little smile has certainly been wiped off of Ilhan Omar's face as of late. She's gone from these glib little reporter trysts in the halls of Congress to looking a little more down when TMZ starts asking about her personal finances, not looking particularly healthy or happy, looking a little more overweight, not smiling anymore, and then actually snapping on reporters.
You said that I was stupid for asking you about your financial disclosure, but there's some discrepancies on there. Would you like to explain that? How did you make such a big mistake on it?
I still do think you're stupid for asking me anything.
I am?
Yes.
Well, what about the American people who are wondering how you made such a big
I have
mistake?
explained to the American people.
What's the explanation?
I have given them the explanation.
Do you want to tell our viewers? Because
I don't want to tell you jack shit.
This is somebody who is losing their cool. She's losing it. Now, there have been exclusive reports that Ilhan Omar did marry her brother and did what she had to do to get him papers, to keep him in the U.S. The entire Somali way of life is obviously fraudulent, but also, well, incest is a way of life in Somalia. That's a matter of fact. It actually, Somalia as a nation has the highest coefficiency for cousin marriages, first cousin marriages, and incestuous marriages. Also, child brides, a big thing in Somalia. So a nasty culture, not a great culture you want to be part of America if you can help it. And it looks like President Trump is trying to help it. President Trump confirms that ICE enforcement proceedings are taking place against Ilhan Omar, who allegedly participated in immigration fraud by marrying her brother, and much more. Send her back to Somalia. Okay, what's going on? Todd Blanche is rumored to be on the case. What's this from? This is from Donald Trump sharing this late in the evening last night. ICE refuses to disclose records on Ilhan Omar fraud probe, cites ongoing enforcement proceedings. President Trump sharing this article. ICE is enforcing proceedings against the Omar family. The agency claims that releasing the documents related to an investigation, lawmakers' alleged immigration fraud under the law would interfere with an enforcement proceeding. Federal government is refusing to turn over records related to an investigation because of allegations of immigration fraud by Ilhan Omar, citing legal exemption. So, you see this in a lot of trials. This is a good example, like Carmelo Anthony trial. The prosecution and the defense make deals. Nobody wants to show their cards. Nobody wants to show their hand. Sometimes stuff is kept entirely from the jury or from the court, and the public doesn't learn about it ever. Like, if it wasn't for Carmelo Anthony asking for a retrial, we wouldn't have learned that he planned on shooting up the school and stabbing people and all these horrible things about his life, that he was a little degenerate gangbanger since he was 6 years old. He had to be institutionalized. We wouldn't learn any of that. They kept it all off the table. Well, the same thing's happening here. There's no reason to keep documents, especially documents that are FOIA-able, where you have access to them because they're federal government documents and you can demand them. Well, you could say that they're classified, or you could say that they're part of a criminal ongoing proceeding. And that's exactly the tact that they're taking right now. Just the News filed a Freedom of Information Act for the records in January, seeking the records pertaining to any investigation Ilhan Omar. Omar had denied any allegations that she married a relative to help him remain in the country, even though DNA evidence and documentary proof has been substantial that her brother did, in fact, get married to his sister in order to commit immigration fraud. And also, it's illegal to marry your brother. I mean, there's the immigration fraud, but then also there are laws against this. All of this is illegal, right? ICE has determined that information you required is being withheld pursuant to Title V, U.S. Code 552, disclosure of any responsive records in time could reasonably be expected to interfere in a law enforcement proceeding. Again, this is what President Trump is sharing online. This applies to records of information compiled by law enforcement purposes for the release that could disrupt such proceedings. So it looks like they're going after Ilhan Omar potentially for denaturalization. Ooh. Hundreds of citizens are being denaturalized with every passing day. Amazing. Somebody found out that there is an investigation into Ilhan Omar. She freaks out and demands the explanation. The White House steps in to tell her directly that she's not getting anything and she's under criminal investigation. Congresswoman Omar demands answers about presence of undercover agents at her town hall meeting, and the White House says you're under federal investigation. Deporting Ilhan Omar would be like landing an astronaut on the moon in terms of the emotional and psychological inspiration it would have on the American people to see a foreign congresswoman deported. It would be like chains and shackles were being broken from a sleeping giant. Woo! Trump confirms ICE proceedings against Ilhan Omar. Trump is deporting Ilhan Omar. Everyone's cheering. If Trump deports Ilhan Omar, Republicans will win in 2028. Free 10 points in the polls if Trump deports her. We're going to deport Ilhan Omar. Now, this is very interesting because it's exactly what J.D. Vance told me that Stephen Miller was working on. J.D. Vance tells me that Ilhan Omar committed massive immigration fraud. Border czar Tom Homan confirmed to me and said, stay tuned. Homan knows something is about to happen. Watch this answer. The whole file is being reviewed and a lot of smart people are on it. Stay tuned. Well, just going to pat ourselves on the back a little bit here because we have done a lot of work asking a lot of powerful people about Ilhan Omar's denaturalization for so many different reasons to put Ilhan Omar in prison. She has deep connections to the biggest fraud ring in all of Somalia. The people who were running the fraud ring were working on her campaign, obviously. This is why you cannot bring tribal third world barbarian politics into America. They're going to rip off and defraud our people. And oh, by the way, if you're a Muslim, obviously there are many, many imams who talk about this openly. They view this as a way, defrauding our systems, defrauding America, taking from our welfare systems is a way to actually steal from Christians and Christian societies as a Muslim tax. And it's called a jiza. And it's a special tax that in Muslim countries, they make Christians pay for not being Muslim. Well, they view this as the new iteration of that. And so, ladies and gentlemen, J.D. Vance and Tom Homan, we asked both of them about this. I think this clip sort of buttons it all up. This was at Baylor just a few months ago. What's going to happen to Ilhan Omar? Here we go.
I sat down with the vice president. And he was talking about fraud. He just finished up his first roundtable meeting about fraud and how to attack it with the entire department, with all the department heads. It was very impressive. Of course, everybody's in favor of this. And I asked about the Somali daycare fraud. And he just straight up jumped right in and said, Stephen Miller's upstairs, and he has proof that Ilhan Omar lied on her immigration forms. We have that paperwork. We know she did this. And now we're looking for how to take action. Can you fill us in? Do you know what's going to happen? Is the Trump administration going to go there? The floor is yours.
The whole file is being reviewed. A lot of smart people are on it. Stay tuned.
Could you color for us what of the elucidated and many crimes there are that it could be? Because
I cannot get ahead.
There's a lot of potential things that could have been there.
I can't get ahead of the investigation, but okay. I know that some of this. I know people that are involved in the review, and they're really smart people, and it's in good hands.
All right. It's in good hands. Okay, we got the Allstate endorsement from Tom Homan, and